Hi, my name is Jason Martinez. I represent Flamenco de Pueblo Viejo here in Tucson, Arizona. My wife Melanie and I run flamenco dance classes here, and we also teach music out of our studio. Because we believe that knowing how to swing, being familiar with structure, is every bit as important as steps, okay, and choreographies. So today, I also teach flamenco percussion, so today I'm going to teach some basic stuff about the cajon. Now the cajon is an interesting instrument because it was introduced into flamenco long after the basic tenets of flamenco were already in place. So we have cante, guitar, dance or baile, and palmas or hand clapping. And it's only been decades since the cajon has been started being used in flamenco. So with that in mind, when we play, we want to make sure that we have a lot of respect for all those other elements of flamenco. Those have been in place a long time, and we certainly don't want to trample over them by overplaying the cajon or being too loud or playing swings that don't really match. Okay, so a lot of times a percussionist who's a very, very good percussionist will come in to learn flamenco percussion and maybe not excel in the ways that they could because they're just using what they have experienced in the past and kind of imposing it onto flamenco music. It doesn't really work that way. As a flamenco percussionist, we have to know specific swings for flamenco, just like you would know specific swings for jazz or any style form that you would be playing for. So we want to leave a lot of space, and it's every bit as important to know when not to play as it is to know when to play. Okay? As a cajon player, we not only keep a nice tempo and rhythm, but it's also our job at times to hit cuts with guitarists or singers, or for example to play the footwork that a dancer is doing. It just boosts everybody. Whatever you can do to make their job easier is good. Okay? So let's talk about flamenco cajon technique. Two basic sounds, although there are many more sounds you can use. After you advance your studies, you can figure out how to take advantage of all the different sounds you can get out of a cajon. But right now we're mostly concerned with snare and bass. Okay? So snare, you're basically just going to let your hand come down on the corner here and your fingers flap down on the surface. Now I'm not holding tension in my arms and I'm not holding my hand rigid. Quite the opposite. I'm going to be nice and loose. And just let the hand relax onto the cajon once it's hit. Yeah. You can do it both sides just to test it out. Now, bass sound, we're going to do basically the same thing, but you don't want your hand completely relaxed. You want to extend the fingers just a bit. Now, everything in the wrist and in the arms and the elbows, that's all relaxed. But the reason I'm extending the fingers and even pulling the thumb back a little bit as opposed to being there, I pull it back about there. So you want to get a nice surface area when you hit. So it's nice and flat, and I'm not getting extra sounds, I'm just getting one clean thud. And of course all different types of cajons have different sounds, but these same basic principles apply for getting a good snare and a good thud, a good bass. Okay, it sounds kind of like a kick drum in a way. So now here's a rhythm that they use in tangos. It's a 4-count rhythm, and I'm using it because it's one of the easier rhythms, but it swings really nicely. Now in this 4-count rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're accenting 2 and 4, right? So if you've seen my palmas video that I have out, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm marking 1 with my foot and hitting 2 and 4, swinging it nice, pulling back a little bit on the third beat, so 2 and 4 really stand out. Then I just take the foot out. You don't always have to hit 1, you just go. It's understood that the 1 is there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. That's what we're going to be doing with the cajon in this particular rhythm. We're not going to play 1. We're not going to hit 1 or accent 1. It's going to be understood. So now we're going to have 2 hits on our left hand and 3 on our right. We're going to do 2 snare sounds with the left, then bass, snare, bass with the right hand. If you're left-handed, just switch it. Whatever your dominant hand is, that's the one you tend to use for more bass sounds. So Tangos rhythm here, we're going to hit left, and the second snare sound is a little bit louder, so I'm going ba ba. Followed immediately by bass, snare, bass. 3 sounds. So put together. So if I was counting that out, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 2 and 3, 4, and 2 and 3, 4. Now if I want to keep it rolling so that I don't have the constant stop every time we hit the 4, we can put in what are called grace notes or ghost notes. And that's just little tiny taps here. You'll notice I'm not keeping my hands down here. I'm bringing them up a little bit so I can get a real light fingertip tap. And I want to make sure that no bass sounds get in there when I'm doing grace notes. They should be barely heard. They're barely discernible. They can be so light that you can't really hear them that well, but you feel them. And that's ultimately the goal of grace notes, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing and just add a couple grace notes after the end. I'll do it very slowly. So we're going to start on the left hand. We're going to go. So that's how you keep it rolling so you don't have that constant. Now play it up to speed, it would be like this. That's what you're going to work toward. Now, in your personal study, if you're a newcomer, all you really want to think about is clarity of sound. Get a clear snare and a clear bass. Make sure there's no extra sounds and they're nice. They sound nice. And work on the swing now. You have one rhythm you can work on. And in future video studies, you'll see that there are many different types of rhythms and many different ways to swing the same palo or song form. One we just did was Tangos. There are many others. There's many different things you can do with within each song form. So practice hard, and I will see you the next time. We'll work on some bulerías, which is a 6-count rhythm, and it's a lot of potential there, a lot of potential. So see you next time.